Who exactly does Alo think they are? I mean, by now you've probably already seen all of the invite-only Alo fitness sessions, Kylie Jenner taking Pilates lessons on the Alo Yacht, Alix, Earle hosting from the Alo Yacht while they're in Monaco for F1. And then on the other side, you have a $2,000 Atelier collection that almost nobody's talking about. But at the same time, a lot of people still think of Alo as something closer to Lululemon than a luxury fashion house. And what's interesting is that this tension really says something specific about human behavior, because we don't just respond to brands, we respond to what feels socially out of reach. So the real question is, what is Alo trying to become now? Because I don't think that this is just an activewear brand anymore. I think they're actively trying to manufacture a luxury image. And to be clear, Alo is not a luxury brand yet. I mean, they started as a premium athleisure brand similar to Lululemon, and that really matters psychologically, because think about it. When a specific brand becomes part of your everyday rotation, you already assigned it a specific value. And it's really hard to make it feel aspirational again. And that's one of the challenges that Alo is dealing with now. Like, people still think about them as gym clothes or athleisure clothes, leggings, gym sets. And even when you're seeing these celebrities and influencers in these fitness classes or on the Alo Yacht, you're seeing them wearing just regular Alo clothes. You're not seeing them wear anything from the Alo Atelier. But what's interesting is that they are trying to shift their perception upward. And perception is one of the hardest things for a brand to change, because it doesn't just come from marketing alone. It comes from how people feel about you socially. Alo isn't just trying to sell clothes anymore. They are trying to sell access. And access hits a very specific part of human psychology. It creates the feeling that something is for other people. I mean, you see it with the Alo gym, their fitness spaces, their invitation-only workout sessions. And they have these curated wellness events that feel more like a social club. I mean, I see it all the time online in the comment section. People are always asking, how can I get invited to the Alo gym? And recently this has become a lot more visible. Like I said, recently, Alix, Earle, Jake Shane, Stassi hosting on the Alo Yacht from Monaco. And people were questioning, what are these three doing together on a vacation? And there was a video of Kylie Jenner having a private Pilates session on the Alo Yacht. And this ended up going everywhere, of course, not just because they rented a boat, but they chartered a super yacht called the Silver Fox, which can cost up to nearly $1 million a week. And they just slapped their brand's logo on it. And psychologically, what's happening is very simple. We don't just consume content. We infer status from who is inside at the moment. So it's not just look at this workout, it becomes look at who was invited to this workout. And in some cases, people aren't even paying for these experiences traditionally. There's rumors that people agree to create content in order to even participate. So the transaction becomes access, visibility, and distribution, which is basically how modern influence works. And that really taps into something very human, which is we want to be included in something that feels socially validated. But here's where it gets interesting, because this strategy works really well for experiences, but not necessarily for products, which is what we see here with Alo. So let's look at Alo Atelier, which is their most elevated, luxurious clothing line. They started off just doing winter drops in Aspen, but they expanded their line into a summer collection as well. So think like silk maxi dresses, Italian wool, and $3,600 leather gym bags. And this was all designed to really push Alo into that luxury sector. And on paper, this is exactly what you'd think a brand like this would do, but it hasn't really worked yet, because desire doesn't just come from pricing or how much something costs, at least not by itself. It also comes from repetition, visibility, and social proof. Right now, you really don't see that same energy with Alo Atelier. There's not a lot of organic influencer content, like people styling their new Alo Atelier, whatever it is. There's not a lot of people saying you need this, I love this, like this is one of my best favorite purchases, I'm going back to Alo Atelier, making another purchase. It's like not the same sort of viral loop that you see with other things. Like people talk about their Lululemon Align leggings more than they talk about Alo Atelier. So when people have seen this collection online, the reactions have been a lot more confused than aspirational. People are questioning, like, who is this for? Why does it exist? And some people are even questioning if the demand is actually real or not. Like when they say that a certain item is low stock or sold out, is it actually, or are they just making us think that it's low stock? Brands do this all the time. To some people, it feels a little bit more like urgency marketing. And that's really important because as consumers, we can get a sense when something is actually real and when something is made up just for sales. So the pattern here becomes pretty clear. Like the experiences are going viral, but the actual products are not gaining the same sort of traction. And this is where the tension for them really shows up, because even though they're trying to move up in the luxury spaces, they are still product-wise competing with the likes of Lululemon and Vuori. And Lululemon still wins on something very simple, and it's just trust. People don't overthink the product. They have tested it, they know it works, and that's enough for them. And that actually matters a lot more than we're giving it credit for, because purchasing decisions for the most part are pretty low friction decisions. You don't always want something that's aspirational. You a lot of the times just want something that's going to fit in your life and work for you for the things that you need it for. Nobody out here is really saying that they need a very expensive gym bag. So Alo is really stuck in this weird middle gray space because it's not a luxury brand yet. It's not necessarily just a fitness brand anymore, but it's not a luxury brand either. And psychologically, that middle space is really difficult because people don't know where to place you. And when people don't really know where to place you, they kind of hesitate to really assign you like the status that you're looking for. But I do think that Alo really does understand something specific about human behavior and the way that we think. Luxury isn't just about the products anymore. It also includes experiences that really feel exclusive. And that's really why the experiences on the yacht or the Alo gym are a lot more important right now than the Alo Atelier products. These experiences create memories for us, and these memories create desire, which we've already seen in the comment section. But just because people want access to this specific world doesn't mean that they want access to the products as well. And that gap is what Alo needs to figure out how to close. Because at the end of the day, a brand isn't a luxury brand just because they say it's a luxury brand. People have to perceive them as one without being told. And if you've ever wondered how a brand can make themselves feel and appear more luxurious than they actually are, I actually did a deep dive video into Jacquemus because this brand is a designer brand, but it's not luxury, but it has people thinking that it is. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I will leave it linked right here on the screen for you, and I will catch you guys in the next video.